Okay, Lancaster Lebanon League Media Day. I'm Bruce Badgley, and I've got Kris Uffner for Lebanon. Your first year, how's it been? Getting ready for this season.
It's been great. It's been a whirlwind. Got a lot of work to do in a short amount of time. So we're working our way through it, but excited to be here, excited to get to work.
Yeah, and I imagine too the fact that you've had a complete 365 here to work with. COVID's behind us. You've had a good bit of time to prepare. How great has that been to not have that 800-pound gorilla staring down at you of like COVID?
Yeah, no, it's definitely a relief to not have that, be as much of a thing right now. I went through it as a parent. It was hard enough to see my kids go through the whole COVID thing for the last few years. So hopefully that's all behind us, and so far so good.
So talk a little bit about your team this year. I mean, how many returners do you have, and how many seniors? How many returning starters and how many seniors do you have?
So for us, we're pretty much almost starting from scratch. We have 3 kids coming back with limited varsity experience, with them graduating so much last year. For us, it's going to be a year of opportunity. Kids are definitely going to have a chance to kind of, have their own moments, earn their roles, and we're hoping with what we have in our program, we're, through competition every day in practice, that's what's gonna kind of earn kids the right to play. That's what we're trying to get in our program with this current group. So we'll roll the ball out and see what happens.
Yeah, and obviously with all the new players and obviously new coaching staff, everything like that. Talk a little bit about what you're doing to try and develop chemistry within this group.
For me, coming into it, a lot of these kids, with the exception of the freshman class, I've coached when they were younger as 7th graders. So, having a relationship with a lot of the kids that are still in the program has definitely been an advantage. We are trying to myself and all of my coaches are all Lebanon alums. So we all kind of have an idea of what Lebanon basketball is supposed to look like. Tim did a great job continuing kind of that tradition and that culture. So now for me, I kind of want to have, my own mark on the program and still make sure that these guys, even though they don't have a lot of experience playing necessarily yet so far, that they know that getting a Lebanon basketball jersey, there's responsibility that comes with that. So we have a slogan this year that our kids are going to get a chance to contribute kind of their own mark on our program, and they know that they're expected to play like Cedars. We think there's a certain way Cedar basketball is supposed to look, and part of their responsibility is to contribute to that and give the next group behind them something to look forward to or something to challenge them.
Yeah, you talk about the fact that that your alums or whatever like that, the coaching staff. Why is that? I mean, it seems to be very prevalent, in Pennsylvania sports in general, that the alumni like to come back as coaches. I mean, why do you think that is?
Well, I think at Lebanon, Lebanon's always been a basketball town as long as I can remember. It's a very passionate fan base. Growing up when I did, the mid-'90s, there were stretches there where, it was amazing basketball. To be a player in that program really meant a lot. And you always kind of wanted to at least live up to the group that came before you, and again, give the next group something to live up to. So I think there's a lot of pride in our program, and that's why so many alums want to be involved. When I got here, that was something that was very important to me, is keeping Lebanon people, as many as possible, in the program.
Yeah, and so for you and how you're going to run your team, I mean, is it going to be, you talk about Lebanon basketball. What is Lebanon basketball?
So it can mean different things, obviously, depending on your personnel. But the expectations for these guys, they know they're expected to play hard, especially defensively. Offensively, we're gonna give kids space. Lebanon is traditionally, we have athletes that do well in space, so we're gonna kind of play to that strength. So we're gonna kind of give them some space, run a motion style offense, with some fundamental principles. And how well we do with it depends on, the work that they put in. We're going to put them in the right situations. Ultimately, they're going to have to put in a lot of work. and really take the things we're doing in practice and repping and drills to heart, translate it over into games. And the better they do that, the better off we'll be.
Yeah, and so, how do you obviously get that from, the practice? What are some of the, specifics of getting that practice into the game on all these principles?
Yeah, so, we're going to like a 4-out, 1-in offense. So we're going to have space. It's very similar if you've seen Villanova play. Very similar offense. So fundamentally, footwork, being confident and ready shooters, and then playing off of that. Ideally, that's the ultimate vision of it. Right now, we're still kind of in the early stages, and we do have a lot of work to do to get to where we want to be.
Fewer practices before you can start the season, right?
Yeah, so it will be something that throughout the season we're going to be building, and that's going to be one of the challenges for us this year. But we know what's ahead of us, and we're ready and prepared to tackle it head on.
Well, welcome to the LL, Kris. Thank you very much for a little bit of your time. Appreciate it. And we'll have to definitely get some Cedars basketball on LL.